Tunisia fell 3-1 to the Netherlands in Kansas City, and with it, their World Cup was over before the knockout rounds ever began. Welcome to FairPlay, Football AI Review. Group F entered its final matchday with the Netherlands already in a commanding position, needing only a point to guarantee top spot. Tunisia, on the other hand, arrived at Arrowhead Stadium with 0 points from 2 games, knowing only a victory, combined with results elsewhere, could keep any slim hope alive. The stakes were brutally asymmetric. One team playing for seeding, the other playing for survival. The pre-match narrative around Tunisia was one of damage limitation and pride. Hervé Renard's side had shipped 4 goals to Japan and 5 to Sweden across the opening 2 matchdays, conceding 12 in the group in total. There were no confirmed injuries or suspensions forcing his hand, but the psychological weight of consecutive heavy defeats was palpable. Renard needed a performance that could at least restore some dignity to Tunisian football. Renard set up his side in a 5-4-1, a deeply conservative block designed to stay compact and deny the Dutch the space between the lines. Elias Skiri and Rani Khedira sat in a double pivot in front of the back 5, with Hannibal Mejbri tasked with driving forward in support of lone striker Hazem Mastouri. The intent was clear: absorb pressure, stay organized, and hunt on the counter. Ronald Koeman lined his Netherlands side up in their familiar 4-3-3 with Tijani Reinders, Ryan Gravenberch, and Frenkie de Jong controlling the midfield engine room. Denzel Dumfries provided relentless energy on the right, while Cody Gakpo and Daniel Malen offered width and directness in behind Brian Brobby. The system is built for territorial dominance, and against a 5-4-1, it had the tools to exploit every gap. The fundamental tactical mismatch here was simple but devastating. Tunisia's 5-4-1 relied on the wide center-backs and wing-backs to contain width, but with Dumfries bombing forward and De Jong recycling possession quickly, the Dutch could pull Tunisia's shape in multiple directions simultaneously. Whenever the Tunisian bloc compressed centrally, the Dutch found the channels. When Tunisia's wing-backs pushed out to track width, they left acres behind them for Brobby to attack. The Netherlands wasted absolutely no time imposing that superiority. Within the opening 3 minutes, they were already ahead, and it came in the most deflating way possible for the Tunisian captain. Just 3 minutes into the match, Denzel Dumfries drove a low ball across the face of goal from the right flank. Elias Skiri, attempting to intercept and clear, caught the ball poorly with his outstretched foot and diverted it past his own goalkeeper, Aymen Daman. It was the 12th own goal of the tournament, equaling a record in World Cup history, and it was a devastating, almost cruelly early blow for a side that desperately needed to start with belief. 4 minutes later, the Netherlands doubled their lead. Tijani Reinders delivered a free kick to the back post with pinpoint precision, and Virgil van Dijk met it with a powerful header, nodding the ball back across the 6-yard box. Brian Brobby was perfectly positioned at the near post and guided the header into the net to make it 2-0 after just 7 minutes. It was Brobby's 3rd goal of the tournament, confirming him as one of the most dangerous center forwards at this World Cup. Tunisia's only meaningful chance in the first half came through Hannibal Mejbri, who drove a shot from distance that Bart Verbruggen dealt with comfortably. The overall picture in the first 45 was one of complete Dutch control. Tunisia's XG for the entire match came in at just 0.54, suggesting they barely threatened with genuine quality. At halftime, the scoreline of 2-0 told an honest story, but the manner of the game told an even starker one. Tunisia had been overrun in transition, restricted to long-range efforts that never seriously tested Verbruggen, and had contributed to their own downfall with that catastrophic own goal. Renard's halftime task was almost impossible. Tunisia came out after the break with a touch more urgency, partly because the game demanded it and partly because they had so little to lose. And 9 minutes into the second half, they found a moment of genuine quality to pull one back. In the 54th minute, Hannibal Mejbri stepped up to deliver a corner kick with real quality, curling it into the danger zone. Hazem Mastouri, who had been isolated all evening as a lone striker, rose highest above the Dutch defense and powered a header past Verbruggen. It was a fine finish and a proud moment for a player making his World Cup debut. For approximately 8 minutes, the scoreline read 2-1, and Kansas City dared to imagine a Tunisian fight back. That hope was extinguished swiftly in the 62nd minute. Tijani Reinders, who had been a constant creative threat all evening, delivered another immaculate corner from the left. Jan-Paul van Hecke attacked the ball with tremendous aggression and powered home a glancing header that deflected slightly on its way in, beating Damen at his near post. The official credit goes to Van Hecke, and it was a deserved first tournament goal for a centre-back who had been composed and commanding throughout. Koeman made a triple substitution, bringing on Justin Kluivert, TUN-NED, and Crescencio Somerville for Reinders, De Jong, and Malen respectively. It was squad management as much as tactical adjustment. Koeman had seen enough, protected his key men, and rotated with an eye on the upcoming knockout rounds. None of the 3 substitutes fundamentally altered the game's dynamics, but they kept the Dutch ticking over efficiently. Renard made 3 changes of his own, introducing Mohamed Belhaj Mahmoud, Elias Achuri, and Mortada Ben Ouanes. The triple change at 67 and 68 minutes was a sign of resignation as much as intent, fresher legs for a side already beaten, trying to impose some dignity on the final quarter. Memphis Depay entered for Brobby in the 77th minute, receiving a warm reception from the Dutch supporters as the Ajax striker made way for the veteran forward. It was a sentimental moment for Depay, who had experienced complicated relationships with his national team over the years, coming on in the final group game as a respected elder statesman of this Dutch squad. Noah Lang came on for Gakpo in the 84th minute, and Tunisia introduced Firas Chawat and eventually Sebastian Tunekti in the closing stages, as Mastouri was finally rested after an impressive individual display in difficult circumstances. The decisive moment of this match arrived far earlier than most expected. That third-minute own goal from Skiri was the turning point before the game had even found its rhythm. Tunisia were 2 goals down inside 7 minutes against a side that had already conceded their nature. It created an impossible psychological mountain. The own goal stripped away any tactical plan Renard had prepared, forced Tunisia into chasing the game from the opening exchanges, and handed the Dutch the exact scenario they wanted. The ball statistics told an unambiguous story. The Netherlands controlled 71% possession, completed 602 accurate passes to Tunisia's 199, and recorded a pass accuracy of 93% compared to Tunisia's 77%. With 20 dangerous attacks, the Dutch were not just dominant in quantity, they were consistently threatening in quality. In terms of attacking threat, the XG figures speak for themselves. The Netherlands generated an expected goals figure of 2.01, firing 20 shots in total, including 7 on target. Tunisia, despite their late consolation, accumulated just 0.54 XG from 10 shots, only 4 of which troubled Verbruggen. The Dutch hit the woodwork once through Reinders, and could easily have scored 4 or 5 with a little more clinical finishing. Defensively, Tunisia's 5-4-1 kept things reasonably organized once the damage was already done, recording 17 tackles, more than double the Netherlands' 8. But with 16 Dutch shots coming from inside the box, the structure was consistently breached in dangerous areas. Damen made 4 saves to keep the scoreline respectable. At the other end, Verbruggen was largely untroubled, making 3 saves and rarely facing serious examination. For Tunisia, Hazem Mastouri stands as the one player who can hold his head genuinely high. Operating in total isolation as a lone striker with barely any service, he still managed 3 shots, 2 on target, and crucially, a header into the net on his World Cup debut. His work rate was exceptional given how starved he was of the ball, and that goal will be a career landmark regardless of the scoreline around it. From the Dutch perspective, Tijani Reinders was absolutely outstanding before his substitution in the 72nd minute. He delivered the free kick that led to Brobby's goal, provided the perfect corner for Van Hecke's header, hit the woodwork once, and registered 3 shots plus 2 on target himself. He was the creative heartbeat of everything incisive the Netherlands produced in this match. The player who struggled most on the evening was Rani Khedira. Tasked with screening the back five in midfield, he was repeatedly bypassed in transition, his positioning often leaving gaps between the lines that Dutch runners exploited. He was replaced in the 67th minute, having contributed very little to Tunisia's ability to control or disrupt the game. Tactically, Renard deserves credit for trying to make the match competitive with a defensive setup, but the own goal dismantled his blueprint in the 3rd minute. Once behind so early, the 5-4-1 became a liability. The deep block invited pressure without offering any genuine counter-attacking outlet. Koeman, on the other hand, managed the game with authority, rotating wisely at 67 minutes and using his squad depth intelligently ahead of the knockout stages. The head-to-head record between these two sides offers limited historical context, with this being one of their infrequent competitive meetings. But the result perfectly reflects the chasm in quality between these two programs at this moment in time. The Netherlands are a genuine contender. Tunisia leaves this tournament having conceded 12 goals and scored twice across 3 group games. Tunisia's recent form heading into this tournament suggested a side on the rise. Wins over Namibia, São Tomé, Equatorial Guinea, Liberia, and Malawi had built confidence domestically. But the step up to World Cup level against European and Asian opposition exposed the quality gap starkly. A 5-1 defeat to Sweden and a 4-0 loss to Japan bookended this final group exit. The Carthage Eagles now go home having been found out at every level, defensively, tactically, and in terms of individual quality. The Netherlands came into this game on the back of a 3-0 win over the same Tunisian side, or rather, from the context of their group campaign, a 2-2 draw with Japan followed by a 5-1 win over Sweden. Their squad depth, organization under Koeman, and the form of players like Reinders, Brobby, and Van Hecke paint a picture of a team genuinely capable of progressing deep into this tournament. With 7 points from 3 games, the Netherlands top Group F with authority. Japan's 5 points secure their progression in second, while Sweden on 4 and Tunisia on 0 complete the group picture. Tunisia are eliminated, the first confirmed exit in the group, with a goal difference of -10 that speaks to the scale of their difficulties throughout. The Netherlands now face Morocco in the round of 16 on June 30th. Morocco are organized, physical, and were the story of the 2022 World Cup. This is no soft draw. For Koeman, getting Reinders and de Jong fully fresh will be essential. Tunisia, meanwhile, face no upcoming fixtures. Their tournament is over, and Renard will have a serious rethink to do about the gap between African qualifying and World Cup standard. My prediction going forward is straightforward. The Netherlands are genuine dark horses for this tournament. Their squad depth, tactical clarity, and the form of Reinders in particular make them a dangerous proposition for any team left in the competition. The Morocco test will tell us a great deal about whether they can match physical intensity with their technical quality, but I back them to progress to the quarter-finals at minimum. This match was decided in 7 minutes and then slowly made respectable by one moment of individual brilliance from Masturi. The Netherlands were dominant, ruthless when it mattered, and tactically superior throughout. Tunisia gave everything in a pointless cause, their tournament a story of what happens when African qualifying form meets the relentless quality of a tournament field that offers absolutely no margin for error. For the Dutch, this was 3 points in a statement. For Tunisia, it was the end of the road. Thank you for joining us here on FairPlay, Football AI Review. The knockout rounds are approaching fast, and the matches to come promise real drama. Stay with us. The best is still to come. That's the FairPlay verdict on this one. If you want more analysis like this, follow us, find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at FairPlay AI, and follow Anthony personally on X at Anthony Fairplay. See you next match.